Fina EX is coming out this week, and if you're not excited for her, I am here to change your mind. She goes from a niche unit that you only really use to farm some faith on your guys into a top tier healer that can actually deal decent damage from range. She gets a magic scaling missile attack just like the Energists have, and that's really interesting. She's also going to be a great support for Jaden, so if you're eventually going to pull for him, well, they really pair well together. So that's what she does. Today we'll take a look at her stats, upgraded abilities, how to build her, and just generally where she's going to shine. So the first thing to look at are the stats. If we compare her to Yuna, she's got a lot less HP. Fina is the kind of unit that if you breathe on her too hard, she's going to go down. So very, very squishy. She's got the same agility as Yuna and Aerith. That is really good. So she's actually really fast. And she has comparable magic to Yuna as well. So you've seen Yuna in Arena and whatnot reach 1400 magic. Guess what? Fina can do the exact same thing. She is not that accurate with 180 luck, and contrary to Yuna, she does not have guaranteed hit attacks that scale with magic, so she's not going to hit that reliably. You will need some form of accuracy support if you want her to be a damage dealer. She is going to heal super well though, and is fairly resistant to magic with a base 30% magical resistance. So you could make her survive against magical attacks, but versus physical, it's going to be super tough. She is weak to every single other type of damage. So there's that. And then she is resistant to stop, so I guess that could be handy, but the best way of actually stopping her is just to kill her. So yeah, that's going to happen. And then same comparison with Aerith, but Aerith being a more recent unit has crazy magic stat, and Fina does not compare to that. I am not going to talk about whether you should run her at 115 or 120 because her 120 ability is necessary, in my opinion, to make EX Fina work. So if you're not willing to go all the way, don't go for her. At 115, she will not compare to other units. But her EX upgrades are pretty interesting. The first one upgrades her Innocent Shooter by giving it healing power up. Now, I've talked about this many times, but in the EX era, a unit that does not have healing power up is not a good healer. Freyavia is an example of that. She can reach super high magic, but even with that, she's going to heal for like 3,000 to 4,000 HP. It's not that great. With healing power up, Fina can heal similarly to what Yuna does, so full life any kind of squishy unit, and on a tank, bring them fairly high, but usually not their entire 10,000 HP pool. Her upgraded Curaga is now a super large AoE, so just like the Arithmetician heal, she is going to be able to heal people from very far away and stay safe, and also just hit everybody on your team with a single heal, so that's really good. It also dispels status ailments, except for Charm, Slow, Stop, and Doom. So the list that she can dispel still involves Paralysis, it involves Disable, so there's a lot of really mean status effects that you can remove with that. And then her new ability is a magic scaling missile attack. Why is that good? Well, first of all, Fina can reach 1400 magic, like I was saying, but that also means the damage will scale off the enemy's faith. So normally, mages are really weak to other magic attacks because the damage they take scaled off of faith. Fina has that disadvantage as well, where she will be squishy, but she has such a great range with 2 passives that can increase her range, that she can do that from really far away, and then she will be a mage hunter. She's going to leverage the high faith that enemy mages have to one-shot them with that attack, basically. I've seen footage of JP where Fina could one-shot a Black Rose Helena through her barrier with that ability. Not saying that's going to happen every time, but that's pretty impressive. And then she has the same passives range up that Frederica gets. So if Frederica reaches, Fina probably does. The only difference is Fina doesn't have Barrage, but outside of that, she has the same kind of range, so it's very impressive overall. Then, depending on the sub-job you're running, you could run her as a White Mage of Lapis sub-job and have Cheer, which gives Protect, Attack, and Magic up. That's decent. You also get a guaranteed hit attack, but it's a physical scaling attack, so it's not going to hit that hard. Then you have the option to go Gunner, which gives you aimed fire, so extra range and missile attack for everybody. That makes her a great partner for Jaden, Frederica, a lot of other units, and you also get a buff for crit attack up. That also gives her a lot of options with CC, which is interesting. And then the other option is running her as a cleric, but that's only really if you want the light and or dark resistances, so I don't see that one being used all that often. Here is what a standard build will look like, in my opinion. So she's got 4600 HP. Yeah, in today's meta, that means she gets one-shot by just about anything coming her way. 460 attack, not enough to do much with her physical abilities, but 1400 magic, so her heals are going to be insane, and her missile magic scaling attack is going to deal serious damage. She's got 23 spirit, so I guess that's fine. 45 magic resistance is okay. If you were running a Fenrir on top of that, she would actually be super hard to kill by magical means, so that's not bad. But like I said earlier, any physical threat is going to kill her in a single hit, so be careful about that. Good partners for her are going to be a tank, first of all. She will die if she gets hit, so you need somebody with hate to protect her. Then Jaden or another missile unit will be a great partner because she has buffs that increase their damage overall, and usually the vision card synergy is going to be great. Otherwise, I mean, she's a healer with access to full life, a super large heal that also removes statuses. So she will be good with any team. She's more of a support that can potentially attack than an attacker in herself. Now, the ones you want to avoid the most, I think, are very evadey units because she has no accuracy. With 270 luck and no accuracy up passives, she is not going to hit them that reliably, which means that a Tifa, a Yuar Zazan is going to be able to dodge all her arrows and eventually kill her. Also, if they have healing power down abilities like Zazan does, that's going to be an issue, or to be, for example. And then somebody like Vinera, who is a dark unit, evadey, and missile resistant, goodbye Fina. So there's a couple matchups you have to be wary about, but again, Fina should not be your primary damage dealer, so if your other guys have guaranteed hits, then you might be fine, because she'll just keep healing the other guys to try to keep them alive. So overall, she's a great healer. She can heal and attack from very far away. She's got decent buffs, especially if she's supporting gunner teams, and she's got a couple options for status effects. In her main job, she can immobilize, and then if she's a gunner, she can blind, she can disable, so there's a couple things. Since she will be running at a high faith, she will have a decent chance of landing those status effects. Issues though, she's super squishy, and a lot of players have Yuna, and I don't know that you want to run both these units, because having two healers is often an overkill in War of the Visions. So maybe not the best investment if you already have a 120 Yuna. She also has low mobility and no way to increase that, but as we've seen in a lot of scenarios, even Frederica with low mobility doesn't really care. She hits from so far away that it doesn't matter all that much. I think the biggest issue for Fina is that the Elven bow, which is the best bow in my opinion for her, is something that was time limited, and I know a lot of players did not try to farm their recipes because the only unit that would really benefit from it at that time was Rosa, which I'm like the only player ever using her, so I have it, I'm super happy, but a lot of players don't have the best bow for her, so you would be forced to run a physical oriented bow and she would have a little bit less magic than what you've seen in my build. In terms of rating by game mode, okay for PvE. I mean, she has small AoE, she has good initial AP and great healing, but usually when you can run somebody like the Black Witch, Fina will not compare. In Arena, it really depends. I feel like she'll do a good job generally, but you have to run her with a tank, you have to make sure the enemy team isn't too evadey, so because of those restrictions that she has, I think she's not a top tier unit, she's just good. In Guild Battle, you have to survive 2 fights. Fina being so squishy will probably die in the first fight and then not be able to do much in the second one. If your tank is really good and she's not touched, then she'll perform well, but it's a risk I would not be willing to take. I think in manual PvP she will be great. She has a really good setup, the ability to make sure that your guys stay alive for a long time, and just hits the enemy and punish them if they close in. She's going to be a great support for evasion teams as well, since her upgraded ability decreases accuracy, so I could see her being a top tier unit with a to be in Tifa team, for example. And then for auto PvP, same thing, since you can set your starting positions and make sure that your early turns happen exactly the way you want it to, I'm pretty sure there's a way to set Fina that she really supports your team in the first couple turns and then either heals or attacks depending on what you need. So yeah, really good overall unit, I think. With that said, I am going to EX her, and in the next couple weeks you will see videos, showcases of Fina in her EX job, because I'm just so thrilled for her. Do I think everybody should go for her? Not necessarily, I still think she's a fairly niche unit, but if you do have Blossoms laying around and you're not too sure what to do with them, I think she's a good investment for most players, especially if you have Bahamut and the light-oriented vision cards that can support her well. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And as per usual, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.